it for Christ. Only got one life. Got one shot at this, I gotta do it right. Yeah, I gotta do it right. Yeah, I gotta do it right. Yeah. Do it for Christ. Only got one life. Got one shot at this, I gotta do it right. Yeah, I gotta do it right. Time to throw in the towel. I've been holding on this for a while. Moving on my own skin. Crocodile, yeah, I'm washed in the blood. Made new, can't tell who I was. No, he saved me by grace. He did it just because, yeah, my flesh was on E. Had to fill it with the spirit. God, I complete. Secretly in prayer, gotta keep it real discreet. All the verses they the right of God breathe.
Wealthy Marriage Wednesday. Come on, y'all already know. Y'all already know what time it is. It's Wealthy Marriage Wednesday. We don't play around on these days.
It's the best day of the week.
It's the most wonderful day. You know where I was going. Hey, I'm excited for y'all right now because we get to talk about something that me and Joy are so passionate about because it cuts all of this. Cuts all the excuses out of real estate.
Does.
It's called creative real estate investing, and it is the most amazing topic in all the history of real estate. And you're getting it live today with Coach John and Coach Joy Mays, the people who are here on Wealthy Marriage Wednesday to help you to be able to grow financially, whether you're single, whether you're married, whether you're in a relationship, whether you're in a casual hookup. I'm just playing. Did I go too far? I'm going to let you know right now. This is for you because today we're going to be talking about that real estate talk. And this is the stuff where if you do these processes and you ever had an interest in doubling your income, some people say, hey, I want to double my income. I want to work my 6-figure job and I want to make double that. And I still want to go on my vacations, take time with my church, take time with my family, do all those different things.
All this stuff.
Well, the best way to do it that we know of is through real estate. And then some people just want to replace their income with real estate so they can just goof off all day doing nonprofit work and doing church stuff because they like that.
Yes, they like doing it.
So you might be one of those people who want your time back. And so we're going to talk about creative real estate investing because it's a great way to build a really big real estate portfolio that pays you, that helps a lot of people out with some great housing, and you get to be able to have some assets that you can pass down to your family.
You do?
Yeah. So we're going to get into this topic. Should we dig right in?
Let's dig right in.
Okay, hold on. We did have one closing today. I think we should tell everybody about the closing. Oh man. Okay.
Oh, because is that the one we shared, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations to everybody here.
Yes.
We showed you all some pictures of a house that we had under contract, and we just closed on that house. We share it with you all, so we can't wait. We have a wonderful design.
Oh yeah.
And we're about to get started on it tomorrow. So we actually the seller closes the paperwork tomorrow.
Yes.
And we signed today, and then we're going to get started tomorrow. And the best part about that particular deal is we were able to do this deal with no money down. And so we used a creative financing technique. And so we used no money down, and actually including the rehab, we're going to fix it up without going into our own pocket. And then after that, we're going to get a check. Is pretty cool, but also we're going to share some strategies where you can have little or no money down, or if you want to put some money down where you can make the payments really affordable so you can have a lot of cash flow in your portfolio, or just whatever it is your goals are. Creative financing is the best way to do it. I can't wait to run the numbers on the deal we got. It's really exciting. I think we're going to finish like really, really quick. And sometimes to sell to some home buyers, you have to wait 90 days, but I think we'll be done before that. It's going to be a really good house. And it's a complete transformation that you all are going to be. I think you're going to say, wow, that's really good.
It's a great neighborhood.
And we can't wait to show you the pictures so we can say, that's really
look
good.
What we did.
Yeah, right. And because really, if we can do it, Joy was a daycare person.
Yes.
So you got a daycare person and a restaurant person. And so how does a daycare person, a restaurant person do multiple rehabs in a year and management and do this kind of business? If we can do it, anybody can do it. Because I guarantee you, I was just reminded a couple times this week that it ain't nothing special about what John enjoyed.
That's right.
It ain't like, oh man, they doing something that no, we just on here talking about some basic stuff that anybody can do. A few properties can literally change your whole situation.
Yeah, it really can.
All right, so let's get into some strategies, because if you want a few properties that can change your whole situation, we believe the best way to do it is through real estate investing. And we've been talking about different topics. And so the best way to talk about it in terms of growing fast is through creative terms and finances. So we're going to have the 101 version. This isn't going to be super deep, but we are going to be teaching today. So guess what? You're going to have to take some notes or some screenshots today. Usually we like to keep it really, really light, but today we are going to give you a little bit of D. It's more of a workshop style. So we'll give you some content. You may have questions. If you do, you can put it into the chat. If you have comments, you can do that. And also, if you want to reach out to us later and talk a little bit deeper, we'd be open to that. But hopefully you'll bear with us, because we got some slides for you today. It has some words on them.
Wonderful
and those words are here to help us all to understand creative financing. And so before we get into it, it's about turning time. We got a freedom formula.
Oh, yeah.
And this formula is the formula that we talk about all the time. And we're not going to stop. And that's all about turning your time into money.
Yeah. Turning your money into assets.
And turning those assets into freedom. But John and Joy, what is freedom? Freedom without hindrance or restraint. Not in bondage. So many times we bound to our job. I'm not telling you to quit your job. I want you to keep it. But I don't want you to be bound to it. I'm telling you right now, if you're in a marriage and you have ever had a financial dispute, listen to this. It will help. Let the disputes be about the other 99 problems, but don't let your finances be one. All right. So here's the underlying thought for everything that has to do with creative financing. I need you all to write this down. Somebody need to put this in the chat. Somebody put it in the chat with me. I'm putting it in the chat myself. You don't put it in the chat. This is the underlying great news about every single property out there. Every property can be a good deal. All of them, 100%.
That's right.
This is Creative Financing 101. Says every property can be a good deal with the right terms. So I say with the right terms.
With the right terms.
With the right terms. All right. So guess what? Every property can be a good deal.
Yes.
And so many times we look, well, the interest rate is crazy. I can't do it. We listen to the news. We listen to inflation. We don't listen to the debates. So now I start listening to the debates. Now I can't afford groceries. I actually can afford my groceries, but that now I'm kind of second guessing. I don't think I can afford it.
Now.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm about to pour all my, I guess I should still get a glass of milk. I don't know. But what I'm saying is it's tight for folks and different things. That ain't got nothing to do with you.
Right.
You ain't got to participate in the recession. You ain't got to participate in inflation.
That's right.
You know, because when you own some stuff, you'll be able to inflate your stuff to go along with the other stuff that's inflating.
Right.
And it'll offset each other and you'll be net neutral.
And you still throw everything you want in the car.
Absolutely. But what I'm trying to tell you is every property can be a good deal. It doesn't matter the price. It doesn't matter the terms. Those things aren't as impactful as what we think. Like there's always a way to make a property into a good deal. Now, let me tell you this right here. Somebody said, well, you've seen this property across the street. And that property across the street, it was a 40-unit apartment complex. And they said, how much you want for it? Oh, we want $5 million for it. And you look at it like, wow, you want $5 million for this property? For one, I ain't got $5 million. And for two, it's only worth $1 million at most, or 2 million, 3 million, whatever your number is. Well, okay. Well, that's true. Yeah. But what if you were able to take that property over at zero money down and then make a monthly payment that was less than all the expenses?
Oh, wow.
How much does it matter how much it costs if you're making money and you didn't have to put a whole bunch of money up on the front end? Like there's terms that can make almost everything make sense. Like I might want to sell you a house for $100,000. And then you look at the house and you say, wow, I can't really pay you a whole $100,000 right now for it. But what I can do is, John, I can give you a down payment on the house. And then I can pay you off monthly over time. Shut the front door. I can be your bank.
You can do that?
I can be your bank. People do it all the time. You can buy property without a bank.
Yeah.
And so this is creative financing at its best, is you being able to buy whole pieces of real estate without going to the bank. I love banks. Trust me. Me and Joy
Banks are good.
are the most bankable people you ever meet.
Oh,
My
yes.
credit score is almost, it was like 840 something when I put it up. People was talking, they was looking like, golly, that was high. I thought it was high. I didn't even know I had an 840.
I didn't
I
know.
some thinking good
I
credit.
didn't even know credit.
I would give me a loan. I would give me a loan, but I'm
Yeah.
telling you right now, we don't have to go to the bank all the time. They need a lot of information. You got a lot of stuff hanging out on your reports. You got a lot of public information. You can buy directly from the people who are selling it.
Yeah.
And guess what? When you can do that, then you can be creative with the terms of how you buy these properties. And so we're going to talk about that here in just a second. I want you to get this other underlying thought.
Yes.
This is a big thought. A lot of people mess this thought up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want you to think about it. Look around. Open a window right now. I dare you go. Joe, can you open this window right here, buddy?
Yeah.
Now, don't for real open it. I don't want everybody looking in it.
Okay.
But you see, she just went to open the. You open your window.
Yeah.
All right. So when you look in the window, understand every single building that you see out there has only one thing that you know it has in common.
Yep.
It's not the type of roof.
Nope.
It's not that it's a safe place because
Nope.
everybody ain't safe. The one thing that we can tell you for sure is that
Yes.
somebody made money on that building.
That's right.
That's a fact.
Yep.
There's no piece of real estate you ever seen that somebody didn't
Has to
make some money.
off of.
Either the person who had the materials, the person who built it, the person who did,
Put in the electric.
who did the electric, the people who signed the paperwork.
Yes.
The government made money off of it. Then somebody sold it. Somebody else bought it. And somewhere in there, somebody made a profit.
Right.
Somebody made some money.
Mhm.
Undoubtedly, somebody made some money.
Yeah.
And what I'm here to tell you is that your whole deal with creative real estate investing is to be the person to find the spot inside of that property becoming to life that you can get paid.
That's right.
I want you to take that in. Every single building you've ever been in, lived in, walked by, looked at, somebody made some money off of.
Yes.
So every time you look at a building, you should be saying, I should be making some money
off of it.
And so guess what? You can. It's just figuring out the best way for you to do it in your existing situation and what is going to work best for you. So I'm going to tell you, these are some reasons. We told you it's going to give you some slides, some information, so we're going to have some words on the screen. I want you to take some screenshots of this stuff, write it down. These are the 7 things that we're really going to talk about, is why to use creative real estate investing. And there's a lot of different reasons, but we're going to break them down one by one. And if you go with us on this journey, I guarantee you're going to understand well enough where you're going to want to be able to buy your next property using some creative financing terms. So the next one, the first one is
creative financing. And creative finance is like seller financing, subject to or different lease options that you can have.
Okay, so we blew somebody's mind. So we introduced way too many terms all at once. So I'm going to tell you that we have 3 terms that we just mentioned. One is called seller financing. Seller financing is when the person who owns the property. So like, let's say you own a property.
Okay.
And then let's say Joy owns property and she really doesn't want to keep it anymore.
I really don't.
Yeah,
I just want to get rid of it.
Yeah, she just wants to get rid of it. So her father left her the property.
Yeah.
She wants to get rid of it. And she says, I just want to sell this thing, but I'm not going to take less than $100,000 for this property. I just can't do it.
That's right.
And so I'm the investor. I come up and I'm looking at this property. I'm like, it just ain't no way. This ain't no $100,000 property. It's going to sit here forever. I'm not to be like that, but it's not taken care of. It's got a lot of issues. It needs a lot of work. And so right now in its existing condition, it's just not worth where we could just write you a check for that, because no bank would look at this and appraise this property in its existing condition for that price. So what could we do? Well, she's saying, well, I really want to make $100,000. And I'll ask her, well, why do you need $100,000? And so she'll say, oh, well, I got a few things that I'm working on, and I'm about to send my son to college soon, and I'm about to do some other stuff.
And my dad, he also had a mortgage on this house. So now I need to,
Yeah. Okay. So she would say those different things. And so what I would do is talk to her about the mortgage, find a way to pay it off. So we would say, okay, oh, your mortgage payoff? Oh, it's just $3,000. Okay, well, here's what I'll do. what I'll do is I'll take care of the payment on the mortgage. And you said you were sending your child to college. Well, I'm gonna tell you the best way I know how to do it is to be able to pay how much overtime. So how much is it per year? Oh, it's about $12,000 a year. Well, here's what I can do for you. What I'll do is I'll pay off that old note for the $3,000, and then I'm also going to pay you the $1,000 a month. And so then I'll basically be putting them through school with this property. And at the same time, you get paid after they're out of school. You're still getting money every month. Yep. How's that sound? And they say, my goodness gracious, you just paid my kids' college. My goodness gracious, you just took care of the load on here. They happy as clams. And you know what you are? You happy too, because you was able to put a small amount down and able to put a monthly payment on the property. And then they were being able to get what they needed, and you was able to get what you needed.
Yeah.
So we found a way to make it work. And then over time, I'll be able to add some value to the property. So now it's actually worth what I'm paying on it. And then she is able to get money over time, and that helps her. So that's called seller financing. Okay, so seller financing helps people out, because if you take a bunch of money at once, do you know what you have to pay?
Taxes.
You don't say that dirty T word in here. Say it again.
Taxes.
I don't like it. Say it one more time.
Taxes.
And so if you got to pay a bunch of taxes, it'll mess some stuff up.
It will.
Nobody wants to pay a whole bunch of taxes. Don't even lie to y'all. If you look at your check, you don't want all that money that's going out for all those different reasons. Yeah. And so it helps to be able to offset some of that by taking smaller amounts over time than having to pay these big lump sum amounts. It can be kind of painful. And so
that's pretty good.
It's really good. So that's seller financing. Number two, she talked about was subject to. Now, subject to is where you help somebody by catching up their mortgage and then making the payments on their behalf, but you take control of the property. And so you're buying the property, but you're buying it subject to the existing mortgage. And so there's a lot of different things to be able to understand about that, but it's not hard. We've done it before. And it is a wonderful way to take over a property and help somebody out of a bad situation who may be going through foreclosure or getting close to that point, or getting close to a point where they were stressed, wanted to move. I mean, so many different things where you can help somebody out of a really tough situation, and they can go on and live a very happy, fulfilled existence. And then you take over the property, make the improvements to it that they can't afford. And then you find different ways to be able to exit that property over time. And then the third one is called a lease option. It's like rent to own. Anybody ever heard of rent to own?
Oh,
yeah, you can rent it to own it, but you rent it, but you get a contract on it today. And so we agree on a price.
Yes.
And then I pay you rent for a little while. And then once the contract period comes due, let me say we put it for 2 years. And after 2 years, I'll pay you the amount that we agreed on.
Okay.
Is that a good deal? Well, sure, it's a good deal, because maybe I'm not able to get the financing from a bank, or maybe my money isn't all the way where I need to be for the down payments and all these other things. Well, it gives you an option to be very flexible with some of those different terms so that it can be a win-win situation. So every time you hear somebody talk about creative financing, creative terms, those are just some of the ways to do it. And there's a lot more, but those are kind of the big three that we're going to talk about a little bit today. So can you find where that would be beneficial? Well, yeah, because it lets you buy more properties without needing to put a whole bunch of your cash up all at once. And I'm going to tell you, we talked at the beginning about two things. People who wanted to double their income through real estate investing. They're saying, hey, I make a $90,000 a year and I really want to double that up. I want to be at 180, 200. Right. And I want to, do it using, and I don't want to have work 3 jobs, whatever, or work one job and then be online acting like you really working your job. But the truth is you working a side job. Oh, wow. I know people who got like 2 full-time jobs. They be on their main job, 2 screens up. They on a Zoom meeting over here and a team meeting over here, staying up all night on all these. So everybody don't want to do that. No. Some people just want to have maybe one job, and then they want to be able to do something else that can be on their own time. And that's the best part about real estate. You can work one job and then you could be on your own time with the other stuff.
It's so flexible.
It's very flexible. So you can do as much or as little as you want. You don't have to miss out on your kids' soccer games. You don't have to miss dance recital. You don't have to miss church. You don't have to miss the nonprofit event. You don't have to be double scheduling vacation time. So now you got to schedule vacation time for like 2 jobs jobs and a side hustle.
Right.
So it's just hard to get away in those situations. And so if you really want your freedom now, the best way to do it is to get double your income through real estate investing. And creative financing is a big way. Reason being is because you're a real estate investor. And if you like me and you're a real estate investor, the issue that you have is you keep running out of money. This stuff costs a lot. Traditionally speaking, you put 20% down on a property. So if I buy a property for 100,000, hopefully y'all don't mind us saying 100,000 because it's just an easy number. That means that I have to take $20,000 of my money and then I put it as a down payment on this property. And then it rents. And obviously I'm making amounts per month. Maybe I'm making, after I pay all my expenses and all the different things, maybe I'm making about $500 a month. And I'm saying, okay, well, that's okay. But how many times are you going to be able to do that in a row before you run out of money? Well, at some point, you're going to run out of money. And
true.
So the best way to do creative financing, and the reason why, is so that you can conserve your capital. And then you can use your business expertise and the skills that you have to be able to keep properties operating, which means that they have great tenants and who love the place that they live. And so you keep your skill going and you're able to acquire more properties, which is going to help you to get financially free a lot quicker. So let's keep going to number 2 because this is getting good. All right. So this is good because when you're dealing with creative financing, you can now negotiate flexible payment plans. Yes. Wow. You can actually get lower monthly payments or even do interest only payments. Let me tell you, can we give you a real example about what we did? We sold somebody a property that we were selling. It was a rental property for us.
It was.
But we said we sold it to somebody and we're the bank for them. And so he's happy as he wants to be and we're happy too. I'm going to tell you what happened. We bought a rental house for cash. And guess what? We had a plan to kick the tenant out because the tenant was just not just a great tenant and it was under rented. But we had one issue that happened over the course of the couple years. The guy keeps paying and he just wouldn't stop paying. And so it was like, wow, this person keeps paying and you don't want to displace anybody. And the only issue that happened is we didn't want to raise the rents because Joy fell in love with the tenant. She got all caught up in his story. Oh man, my leg and my money comes on the 14th and I can get you. And oh man, that's so we over here cutting his grass. She would go over there. I thought she was going to bring him groceries. I was like, goodness gracious, we can't fall in love with tenants. You know what I mean? I don't want to raise his rent. So guess what? We sold the property to somebody else who had a plan to develop the whole neighborhood. And they said they wouldn't displace them. They would work with them. But then over time, so they did a creative financing deal. And so they said, I'm going to give you the amount that you want for the property. For us, I was like, you're going to pay me what? Now I want it. Cool. We'll take it. And so once I know that, but he said, I'm not going to give it to you now. I'm going to give it to you in 2 years. And I said, okay, I can agree with that. And but he said, what I'll do is I'll make interest only payments to you and Joy each month for the next 2 years. And then after 2 years, I'll pay you that amount. That gives that person enough time to be able to get the property right, to make sure that tenant has a new landing place that's good for that person, for them to be able to fix the property up. Then it'll be worth a whole lot of money. And then they can come and they can buy us out of the deal and pay our loan off. And then we got what we wanted. And now there's no better passive income than a note. You don't do anything. I mean, you do. I don't pay any property taxes on this note. I don't pay any insurance, no property insurance. I don't have any maintenance I have to deal with. I don't have to cut any grass. We just get paid every single 15th of the month. It just shows up in your account. And so that's one example of many. But just to share, notes are beautiful because a note is an asset itself. When somebody who's a solid person or a solid business, when they sign as a business and they sign as a person, they say, we're going to pay you back. And that note is valuable. It's actually an asset. And so we have the asset of a note instead of the asset of a house. And those are beautiful as well. We'll talk about that another time. So we were able to negotiate. He was able to negotiate some great terms because he got a property for the cheap. And we got what we wanted is we got to uncouple Joy from her love tenant. You know what I mean? I love you so much. You remind me of my
But
grandpa.
the good thing is we're still getting paid.
Right. And
every
we're still
month.
getting paid. So everybody wins.
Everybody.
All right. So next, let's go into, we talking about creative financing here, y'all. So buy properties. You get to buy properties with a lower down payment. Okay. So this means you need less money to get started. And this is one issue we hear from a lot of different people. Like they'll say, I don't care how much money people got. We talk to a lot of couples who got a couple $100,000 or got a line of credit for a couple $100,000, or they'll have just some amount in the bank. But we'll say, hey, I think you should buy this fourplex. And they something about in their mind, you want me to put $60,000? Yes, we want you to put 50, 60. Yes, we do. The thought process around that for entry level investors, it could be a heavy lift, you know, because they're thinking because you're thinking about all the amount of time you had to work to be able to get that amount of dollars. And it's a little bit hard to release that. But the best part about negotiating creative finance is that you can get into some of those deals with a lower down payment. And so if it's a lower down payment, maybe it's a little bit more approachable for you. And so lower down payments, it helps to be able to conserve your capital so you can grow a bigger portfolio faster. And real estate, the key is always going to be to buy and hold, but not to time the market. It's time in market. Same as stocks. Real estate and stocks have this in common. Time in market is better than timing the market. You think you can time the market. You can't. Like last week, there was this big dip in the stock market, or the week before. But it's like, okay, well, do you think you could have timed that? Do you think you just could have picked that out of nowhere? No, there's no possible way that you would have known that. They announced that they was dropping interest rates. You thought the market was going to keep going up on some kind of bull run. And so you can't predict it. You're not going to predict it. What you can do is buy now and just let it grow over time. Me and Joy told you the story about the first house we ever bought and how sad we are. That we bought a house, our first ever house, for $141,000. And currently that property is worth about $550,000. But we sold it. Don't be the one who sells. You want to buy as early as you can and hold. Hopefully we let that sink in. And so you buying properties with less down, you still would have got this big $400,000 equity benefit. All they had to do is buy it. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. Just get it. And as long as it's paying all the expenses every month, buy those properties while you're young, while you're healthy, while you feel good. And then over time, you're going to have a lot of equity in those properties. You can sell them. You can take a loan against them. You can get your kids a business loan. You can, instead of getting a student loan, you can use a performing asset. You can use the equity in your home and just pay your kids college through the equity in a rental property where the tenant is paying for your kid to go to school. Are you serious?
Come on now.
You one fourplex away from paying for your kids' whole college education.
Wow.
Like, why wouldn't we do that? And so, like, buy it and hold it. The rents go up over time. The value goes up over time. Even if it's a stretch at first, using creative finance is a great way. And it can do some things that can make your family's life better and be able to leave an inheritance.
Oh, man, we're giving y'all some good games
This is some
today.
good information.
Come on.
All right. So creative finance is what we're talking about. We told you 7 things. I told you we was going to give you some teaching notes today. So hopefully y'all hanging with us. I know most of the time we like to talk, but today we wanted to share something with you. So you can use the equity in properties you already own as a C word. Y'all ain't heard this C word since the 80s. Y'all ain't heard this C word since layaway. Y'all don't know about this right here. I said layaway. The word is collateral. You can use collateral to buy several more properties. Let me give you an example of collateral. And so collateral happens when you take one property. So me and Joy have a property right now. It's on the market for $107,000. Okay. But we've now made the decision that we're going to pull that property off the market. You know why? Because we're going to use the equity in it as collateral. And so that equity in the property is actually going to be our down payment. And all we're going to do is sign our name. We're not going to do any transaction. We're going to sign our name and we're going to be able to do a deal that's a $450,000 real estate deal. by signing our name. And we didn't have to do nothing. We didn't have to come out no more money. So we're going to get a $450,000 worth of real estate that's cash flowing. Cash flowing means that after it pays all expenses, it's going to pay us every month. So we're going to sign our name, and then we're going to be able to get a large amount, not a large amount, but it's going to be a good amount of cash flow that's going to come from being able to make that deal. Do you like buying?
I like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like
when you
it.
can trade one and you can do 4 for 1.
But
four for one.
Where those odds at,
4 for 1. So you can sign your name one. That's collateral. It's crazy. I know. I don't even know why they do it like that. It's crazy.
Right.
It's like you don't have to do a refinance. You don't have to do a line of credit all the time, even though we love lines of credit. By all means, do a line of credit. Lines of credit are beautiful. But you can use the property as collateral to do another deal. And we know because that property was collateral on a previous deal.
It was.
But we just sold the properties that it was collateral for before. And then we was like, well, let's sell this one too. And it was like, no, forget it. Let's just do the same play. But instead of buying $250,000 worth of properties, we can now buy $450,000 worth of property because everything went up in value. And so here's what we're here to tell you. You're just signing your name and trading equity. So now your family becomes more wealthy and you get more passive income coming in, semi-passive, I should say, coming in every single month. Does that sound good?
It does sound good.
Okay. Well, y'all look up the word collateral because I'm done talking about it. That's one of my favorite words, and I hope y'all come back to that. Number 5.
Oh, make deals that work best for your financial situation.
Yeah, you can make a deal. Okay, maybe you have more money down. Okay, well then make the arrangement where you use it, or you make a higher down payment, or you can make it where you have a lower monthly payments, or you can say I want to pay it off in 10 years or 15 years or 20 years, 30 years. There's no limit to what you can do with creative financing. That's what's creative about it. The only limitation is what you got in the ticker.
Right.
And so what I highly recommend to each of you is be always asking yourself, how can we buy it? Not we can't afford it or the price is too high. No, the price isn't too high. No, that you have to find the terms that make the price make sense.
That's right.
And so start with a yes and say, yeah, we can buy it. Yeah, sure. If somebody says they got something for sale, I'm like, yes, I have an offer. You always have an offer because you can find an offer that's going to make that deal work for you. And that's your job in creative financing, is finding a deal that's going to work for you and it's going to work for the seller as well. Or if you're the seller yourself, is to find a deal that's going to work for you as a seller and the buyer. And so you've heard us talk about both. And so know that it works on both ends, and it truly is a win-win when done properly. So negotiate well, especially all you people who like to negotiate. I know y'all like to negotiate. I used to work customer service for T-Mobile back in the day in college. So I know y'all know how to negotiate because y'all would call right in. Hold on. How much? I ain't paying all them fees. I'll pay it. All right, well, I'll offer you 25%. Like, no, you're going to pay at least half of that. Oh, okay, now we negotiate now.
Right. It's a negotiation.
You know full well, you know how to advocate for things that you think are important. That's what's negotiating. Negotiating isn't an argument. Negotiating is you being an advocate for the things that are going to benefit you. Because I guarantee you, nobody on the other side is worried about your situation. And if you don't advocate for you, nobody else will. And so don't just assume. It's not the grocery store where the price is just a price. It's not like you going into a place and we get into a mode where we feel like we see listings of houses and it's just like LG&E sent us a bill. So we got a water bill. This is what the price is. We can't say nothing. We got to pay the price. Well, no, you don't have to pay the price. You can make the arrangement however is going to be best for your situation. All right. And we got our next one. Who here has great credit? Oh, I'm not even going to do that because I already told y'all, but we came a mighty long way.
Mighty.
Yeah, we didn't tell you the whole story when we was talking about our credit because our credit was hit when we first got together. And some of you all might have had some hit credit at one point in your life. And it might be right now. And so if your credit, maybe you went through, some people unfortunately went through some different life situations that had them with a credit drop. Well, guess what? That doesn't have to be a barrier. With a traditional bank, that can be a barrier to you being able to build a portfolio to double your income, or a portfolio that's going to be able to replace your income. And so you are going to want to make sure, obviously, to do the best to pay all your bills on time and get your credit right. But if for whatever reason your credit's not right, this is the best way, because many times you can invest with low credit, no credit, working on your credit, building your credit. You may have had a bankruptcy or some kind of situation. You can get properties financed and still be winning in real estate. Because I know a lot of people who've been in that situation, currently in that situation, and they're still winning. And number 7,
buy using creative financing so you can acquire more properties quickly.
Right. And that's the biggest piece, is acceleration. Because the fact is, if you make $50,000 a year for 20 years, you just made $1 million.
That's right.
But are you rich is the question.
No.
If you make $50,000 a year for 20 years, you made $1 million. Are you rich? That's the question. Put it in the chat. Are you rich? And the answer is no. It's because you got all them expenses, all them taxes, all these other things. It's like, wow, that's a lot. What if you made $1 million in a year?
No.
Are you rich? Well, guess what? I'm gonna tell you, you're a lot closer than you are over 20 years.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You bona fide. You might go pay some taxes and suspicions, but you got something left over. You bona fide. You know, right now I'm gonna tell you, go to your family and tell them you made $1 million this year, and let them tell you if you're rich or not. And so what I'm here to tell you is, just as a fact, I'm just being real. It's like, it's not about making a little bit of money slowly. It's about you buying these properties right now, accelerating the journey and getting more faster, so that in 3 or 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, you can be able to have some massive amounts of equity, massive amounts of cash flow, and that will completely change your family situation. Please believe me. It'll completely change. A few properties can completely change your family situation. And this is a way to get there much, much faster. And so we just got to get out of the fear cycle. Because we're afraid of all the stuff we don't know. I'm scared. I didn't understand all the words that Joy was saying. Joy was saying all them complicated words with her fancy PowerPoint. And John, hey, here it goes. This is how they do it, Joy. They say, look at all the books in the background. Matter of fact, they wrote a book. They special. Nah, we just not afraid to write a book. It's typos in there. You buy the book and you just find the typo. And so, if you didn't buy the book. And so, but yeah, it's not perfect. And guess what? We're not perfect, but we just decided we ain't going to be scared no more. We just decided that we're going to go into places where we don't know everything. And we're just going to go in that place with all of our energy. We're going to allow, somebody going to track with me on this. We're going to allow God to bless us, even though we don't know everything, because he does.
That's good.
Shut up, John. He knows everything. What if you went in and you learned and you allowed yourself to learn and grow as you were doing it? And if you continue to start your learning journey now and grow into it, you can learn and do and move forward at an accelerated rate. And our question for each of you is really to let you know it's no more excuses. Now's the time to buy. But who's got next? Who's going to be the next ones? And we would love to help you. For all of those who are couples who are wanting some help on your real estate investing journey, we know we can help you because that's proven. Like we know we can help you to double your income, replace your income. We know it. And so if you want to do it faster, we are encouraging you to text 502-632-3005. But it's not for everybody. Like you might text us, but you might not. Because me and Joy ain't for everybody. Like good. We for the people who really want to go get it.
That's right.
And if you ain't really, you just kind of thinking about it, don't text the number. Like if you just kind of poking around, don't text the number. But if you're a person who really says, look, I'm ready to go after it. You know I've been struggling with this, but I know that now's the time for me to go from 2 properties to 10 properties. So now's my time. I really want to buy 4 this year. I want to buy 5, 6, 20, whatever, and I want somebody who's been in the game, has some proven strategies on how to buy, how to rent them outright, how to flip properties, how to be able to get deals done that most people can't get done. I want you to text a number because we can help you with that. And I'm gonna tell you, for the investment, there's no better investment than an investment in your own self, and that's what this is. So you text us at 502-632-3005. Make that investment in your own knowledge and information.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you, as we're growing, we're gonna hold your hand as you go through your first deals, your middle deals, your accelerated journey. We're gonna open up our contact book for you. We're gonna analyze those deals right beside you, and we guarantee that if you do the steps that we talk about, you are going to quickly, in an accelerated fashion, be able to either double your income, or you're going to be able to replace your income with real estate investing. So I'm going to tell you, this was fun.
It was.
Y'all hung on there with us because,
Thank you.
you know, I know if you're not used to creative finance or talking about it or don't know much about it, it can be a little bit intimidating. But I'm telling you, it's easy. You can do it. If we can do it, if a daycare person and a restaurant person can figure out how to rehab houses and how to do creative financing and plumbing. Well, no, no, I know how to hire a plumber. Okay, so yes, and if we can do it, then that means anybody can do it.
That's right.
But we are so happy for you all. So we know one thing, though, as Coach John and Joy Mays, as we sign off, that it is always, every single time, so much better together. All right, bye-bye, y'all. We'll talk to y'all later. Next time.
Yeah.